Introduction. In deciding to write this book, I needed to consider several important questions. Why now? Why this topic? Why would anyone pick this up today? The answers came swiftly. As I write in this age of COVID-19, there's perhaps no more important time and topic. With the isolation and strife of today's environment, it is a time for healing, connecting, and rebuilding. As a licensed psychologist, I was trained in the practice of limiting self-disclosure. My story is not as important as yours. In this case, however, I offer a piece of my story to help frame and understand the chapters you're about to read. This book is the evolution of a story starting long ago. I remember as a child reading Henry David Thoreau and being engaged by his reflections on Walden Pond. He wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to put to rout on all that was not life, and not when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." Over the years, I have supported efforts to maintain Walden Pond, and a picture of it hangs in my family room, quietly reminding me to consider what is truly important. In my clinical work, I often speak of the importance of emotions. I remember a time when I was on a televised discussion of a psychology topic. 2 days later, a client stopped me and said, "I saw you on TV on Tuesday." She smiled and jokingly continued, "You couldn't make it 2 minutes without talking about emotions." Setting her joking aside, I considered the deep truth in this. What if emotions are central to ourselves, our relationships, our success, and maybe even to filling that lingering hunger in our lifelong search for meaning? Thoreau also said that the masses live lives of quiet desperation. I have always struggled against this quote. Perhaps you have as well. So much of our lives are spent in boring, benign maintenance, like washing dishes, folding laundry, shopping, and cleaning. For many, work outside the home takes effort, pays the bills, and perhaps even has meaning, but lacks day-to-day passion and enjoyment due to office politics and other strains. So where's the time that is left after we do what we must to live the passion of life? What do we do with this time? What if emotions and love were the center of it rather than the goal of it? What if I could better understand emotions and the role they play in motivation? What if I could feel confident in having tools to manage the less comfortable emotions more effectively? What if I knew how to prevent my less comfortable emotions from causing damage to my relationships and to myself? I went to school to learn about these issues. They taught lots of things about the brain and thinking and disorders. I want to know more than illness, but rather what makes us well and what makes us thrive. Some of the most important solutions I have found along the way, deepening over time, experience, awareness, and practice. I have spent a lifetime considering these questions. The answers are out there. Some of them are shared in the coming pages. I invite you to join me as we work through these issues and seek more in this ongoing journey together. We can do this together. Each step gets easier and stronger, just as we practice in life. This book is developed so the topics build upon each other. You may find yourself tempted to skip ahead to the chapter that discusses your issue, or you may find yourself reading straight through, since sometimes these other topics are related. Like an onion, each of the pieces are linked, and each chapter peels an interconnected layer. For this reason, I encourage you to read straight through, even if you think the topic does not apply to you. However you approach this journey, let's get started. Now begins this practice of emotions.